Andrew, what's going on? My name is Vahid Chitsaz, part of the Elite Mastermind group. Welcome to our live session. This is where we talk about Think and Grow Rich. So thank you for being with us this morning. I know we had a little time conflict, but we took care of it. I'm excited to have you on board. Let's dive into it. Where are you coming from to us?
So I am in Texas. I'm in the panhandle of Texas. Where are you at?
I'm in Los Angeles. My sister is in Houston.
Right. I always tell people when they ask that, you know, I tell them I'm from Texas, and everybody assumes that I'm from Houston or somewhere down south. They start talking about the weather, and I tell people that people in Dallas, Texas, say that they're in North Texas and they're from North Texas, and that's just not true. That's not true. We're way up here in the Panhandle.
So what city are you in physically?
So Amarillo, Texas.
How far is that from Houston or Dallas? Just so I have a little idea where it is.
Well, you're probably a 5-hour drive to Dallas, 8 or 9 hour drive to Houston. It's a long ways.
Oh, so you're on the other side. Okay, cool,
right.
cool.
That makes sense. There's a little square at the top of Texas, and it's up by Oklahoma, and we're way up there.
That's nice. That's nice. So tell me, let's dive into it. Think and Grow Rich. When did you get started? How are you implementing it in your business today?
I mean, you want me to just start at the top here, huh?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
All right. So here's the deal. First of all, is my connection good?
Your connection is fantastic. I can see you. Good. I can hear you. It's perfect.
All right. So yeah, Think and Grow Rich was a book that was actually recommended to me. Probably, it may have been less than a year ago. For me, I'm a guy who I classify myself as a problem solver. I operate and lead general contracting businesses, and so we do commercial roofing, we do commercial maintenance, all that kind of stuff on properties. And I've been one of those guys that's always wanted to push the envelope of the norm, so to speak, especially professionalism. You know, you don't think of a contractor and most contracting companies as being professional companies, right? Right.
I mean, all I heard is that contractors, they start the job, then they leave you hanging, and then they go back and forth. Prices always change, numbers always change. The contracts are completely vague, and you're in the middle of dust, dirt, roof. I mean, they leave you hanging in the middle of the thing. And that's the worst thing for a family to believe in. And the reason why I tell you that is because I do a lot of the repair at my own house. I'm very handy when it comes to stuff like that. But I have had, you know, scenarios and cases where I just physically couldn't do it because I didn't have the time. So I had to get somebody in there. And they say it's 3 days, ends up being 2 weeks. And then, you know, just chaotic, man. Nothing fun. Let's just put it this way. Nothing fun.
There's too much of it. You know, the fact is we're called, as contractors, we're called to serve. We're called to serve you. You don't have the time, the ability, the whatever it is, to take care of what you want at your home. And what ends up happening, because there's such, I guess, low barriers to entry, or any, as I would call it here in Texas, any chuck in a truck can go out and be, you know, whatever that person is. They're all over the place, and we want to gain business, so to speak, and then we end up putting you in a worse predicament than you were in before. And that's actually one of my callings. That's why I'm in the contracting business, because I want to reshape that paradigm. Be the guy that when any of my team walks out of the room and has given a proposal or done a property walk, they go, that was the roofer? That was a landscape? We weren't expecting that. So I'm framing this a little bit to tell you that that's one of the reasons why I took the recommendation and really took it serious, and my education and Think and Grow Rich in the first place, because I'm looking for something a lot more. I believe I was put on this earth to do something special. And so utilizing tools like this book are huge in taking my organization closer to that. So yeah, it was one of those things when I first picked it up. I don't know that I really understood what the book was about when I first picked it up. I think I'd heard the title multiple times in my life, Think and Grow Rich. But probably looked at it as
well. What were the two things that you implemented right away? I wonder how to. You read it and you're like, I got to implement this. What were those two things?
So immediately attaching my definite purpose in life, rather than looking at what I show up to do every single day in the business. It really allowed me, number one, to attach and assign what my definite purpose in life was, and then look at the things I do day in and day out in my contracting business and apply them to that. So number one
How
was
did
just
you come up with your definite purpose? How long did it take you? What did you have to do? What was the process?
so I think that's still shaping for me, to be honest with you. I
It's
think
okay,
it will
but tell
always,
us however you've been to the process, because there's a lot of people that are in your stage. I mean, I've been
right.
reading the book for 12 years and I still learn from people that, just started. And I'm like, I never thought about it like that. Maybe I should implement that. So it's a learning process, is a studying process
No
that
doubt.
everybody goes through. And you
No
can
doubt.
never tell. I've interviewed people that have been studying Think and Grow Rich for 20 years, and there was some basic stuff that they didn't know. And then
Right.
somebody who picked it up last year, they're like, I got this. I'm all like, it took 10 years for me to get that. Like,
And you got that.
I'm jealous of how fast you got that.
Well, I think it depends also like what journey you're on when you pick the book up. So for me, I was kind of already on this journey to find this meaning into what am I here for? What is my definite purpose? What's my gift? All those things. And so for me, what it really was is it was just a little. It was time. It was shutting out all the noise of today's world, like these screens that we're staring into all the time. It was taking a little bit of discipline and resetting up like my morning routine to where I wasn't utilizing technology and things like that. I knew I wanted to figure out what my definite purpose was, because I always see people who do great things, big things, and I know, you know what, those people are driven by more than money or some cheesy company purpose that's up on a wall. They're looking for something bigger. And so for me, I really started reflecting on what I've been told my entire life, by whether it be family members or friends or whoever. I started to try to figure out, what have they always told me that I do the easiest, like I do the best with the least amount of effort, and started thinking back and seeing flashes of whether it's grandparents or whoever. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily what my definite purpose is or my gift, but I think it gives you a solid starting point to decide, okay, I take that piece and then I can apply it in different areas. So is that a direct enough question or answer rather?
That is perfect. No, because and forgive me for reminding everybody again, the purpose of this channel is to learn how to. Everybody can pick up the book and read it on their
Right,
own.
me.
Everybody can listen to the audiobook. But I want authentic, like I did this, I did that, like I felt, just like you said, shutting all the noise out for me to be able to write down my purpose and my definite goal, what I wanted to achieve. So that's
Right.
fantastic. And those are the things we want everybody to know.
So let me say this then. I don't know how many people realize this, but we're living our lives right now in an incredibly reactive state. From the second you wake up, if the first thing you do is you roll over and look at your phone, there's going to be something on it, on social media, a text message, an email, or something that's going to cause you to immediately go into fight or flight, into a reactive state. And so going back to what your question was there, the first thing I do every morning, first of all, I refuse to look at my phone. The first 30 minutes of my day, every single day, are dedicated to going and doing a few things, and they all relate back to what's my definite purpose, writing down my wins from the day before to recognize those things, and I keep everything else shut out. So I start the day proactively looking to find that purpose and get prepped for the day. And I think it gets me a lot closer to realizing, hey, this is my definite purpose. This is how you use your tool, and which I look at my businesses as just a tool to push me closer to my definite purpose in life. So that was immediately one of the things I did.
Fantastic. But I believe, in my opinion, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, just the fact that you've been reading the book for only a year and you've been studying it, I already can tell you were utilizing a lot of the principles before you even got introduced to the principles. And that happens more often than not, where entrepreneurs, business owners, whether that will be you picked it up from mom, dad, business owners, other associates, other acquaintances, school, you learn these principles and you start utilizing it before you even get introduced to it. So when you get introduced to it, you're like, I'm already doing like 10% of what the book is saying. I'm already doing 20% of this. So I'm on the right path. Let me catch the ones that I'm not doing and apply those. So that's definitely a big portion of a lot of entrepreneurs.
Sure. And here's another thing that it did for me is just like you said, a lot of entrepreneurs are already practicing some of these things, and maybe they're doing it here and there, but they're not doing it consistently. And when you read a book, like for me, when I picked that up and I started reading and it was talking about Carnegie, it was talking about Ford, it's talking about all these people, you are all of a sudden in the company of great men, people who this book is being written about that you've only seen maybe a documentary about at some point in your life. And you start to hear some of the things that these men that you've revered on such this high caliber are doing a few things and using some of the tactics that you may have won in a couple of areas of your life before, but you didn't really realize that that's what it was. And so when I read that and I saw that, to me, it was just immediately affirmation to, I need to double down on those things that got these men to where they were. It's just that reaffirming of it, I think.
I love it. So are you, I don't want to say you forced, but are you pushing your daughter to be reading the book also too? At what age are you going to start her on?
Well, I guess she's 3 years old, so as soon as she can actually read. But I tell you, I'm already starting to utilize some of the tools and some of the principles of autosuggestion with her, because that's something I was not doing. I can tell you that the story I was telling myself was a big lie about the hurdles and about the things that I couldn't overcome. And I started realizing that, and I have again, I go back to my morning routine. But with her, she's 3 years old, and a lot of things I tell her every night. I talk to her, and I have her repeat to me. Her name's Olivia, and I have her repeat to me, "I'm Olivia, and I can do anything." And those simple words, and I've started utilizing that and trying to plant that seed in her head for herself to be saying it, not me saying it.
She's gonna start using that on you too. Be prepared, man.
That's right.
I can see it happening. She's got you by the finger, man. She's gonna, you better start making good money, because she's gonna cost you some serious money.
That's right. You know, she, and I think that kids, it doesn't have to be necessary. It's not everybody's tool, but if you want to talk about autosuggestion and some of the principles in the book, that's one of the things. I went from personally, so I run these businesses. I'm the CEO, so to speak. I've also been a sales guy my whole life. I went in 2017 from like $760,000 in sales, which is not very, very high for commercial roofing world, because I was telling myself this story. I was essentially auto-suggesting to myself, I can't do my own sales and run the business and take care of finances. And I kept telling myself this. As soon as I picked up the book and I started really recognizing the story I needed to be telling myself as far as auto-suggestion and things like that, I started planting the seed in my head for what I was capable of and what I was going to do. In fact, going back to my daughter, I had her ride with me on a property in Lubbock, Texas, that I told her I'm going to be doing these roofs this year. This is when I was in the middle of some insurance paperwork and the deal was not done. But I told her, I said, Olivia, I'm going to be doing these roofs this year. And I was telling myself that. I went from that number to $3.3 million in personal sales, not my business, in personal sales, me. And that roof I was talking about is one of the ones that I did. And while I'm not saying that I suggested something out into the world and it magically came back, I'm saying I was telling myself what was going to happen, which pushed me to take the action required to sell that job. And that's powerful stuff, man.
Andrew, how much of that money are you going to donate in buying books so I can give those books away for free to other people?
I don't have a dollar amount on it. I can tell you that I've started a charity called Build to Bless that we're going to be doing this year. But I haven't put a number, but I buy books every day. I reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. So you just hit me up with that here in a minute. You tell me what the number is. I got it.
Now listen, to me, I bought thousands of dollars. I didn't do it in one chunk. I've done it like $50, $100. I mean, I love Amazon, so they just send it to me and I just send out the book. But, you know, sometimes people do read them, sometimes they don't. But I figured out over past 10 years, it's best if they pay for it, or you kind of give it to them and give them that guilt trip, like, you know, I spend money on you, I expect a return on this. If you don't read this book, I want the book back. So don't be keeping it. I'll take it back and I'll give it to somebody else. So you kind of got to put some conditions in it so they feel obligated. And then once they start reading listen, if the first 15 pages don't grab your attention, the book is not going to do anything for you. Right. That's just the way it is. If within the first 15 pages, the thoughts are not going crazy saying, I'm going to implement this, I'm going to do this, I don't know. You need to read different books first and then come back to that, because it's not going to happen. So that's the way I look at it.
That goes back to like the whole idea of autosuggestion. You find something that's so strong for you that you want to give to somebody, and you give it to them, and because they didn't do it themselves, or they didn't say, I'm on a journey to do whatever it is, they get no results from it. I'm sitting here saying that I doubled my personal sales in 1 year and closed some stuff that I did not believe was possible because I changed the story I was telling myself. And it goes the same for something like that book. So never mind. I'm not buying anybody books because they won't do anything with it.
I love it. I love it. No, but you sharing what that book has done for you will affect others, and they could go online and just look it up, watch some YouTube, some Audible, whatever. Listen, if the seekers will always find a way to seek and find. So if they're looking for it and this message comes at the right time in their lives, they're going to get that. Andrew, I want to thank you for being with us today. Hopefully we'll get to do this more often. I appreciate you taking this time out of your busy day and being with us. You and I are going to stay in contact for sure.
I like it. Thanks.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yep, see ya.